Welcome to the Michigan Golf Scene. I'm Roy J. Akers, and over the next half hour, we will cover Michigan's best covered stories from course reviews, college and junior golf, interviews with PGA and LPGA pros, equipment reviews, and we will examine golf issues in Michigan. In just a moment, we will go out to the Allied Challenge as both McLaren and Allied Bank are helping the PGA Legends Tour raise nearly $1 million towards local charity.
Unbeatable price, service, selection, and customer satisfaction?
That's the Gowling difference.
Only at Gowling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Your Ram store.
During the spring sales event, lease a 2018 Ram 1500 Bighorn Quad Cab 4x4 starting at $199 a month employee, $259 friends and family. Or during the Ram Truck Month, lease a 2018 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4, just $239 employee, $289 friends and family. Get to Gowling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Telegraph, north of Square Lake, just west of I-75 at exit 75.
With me is Colin and Mark. And gentlemen, you came up and played very well in the Horizon League tournament. You tied for fourth. What was it like playing in Howey in the Hills for the Horizon League championship?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, the course is pretty tough. It's a good test of your game, and it suits me pretty well. We played it a couple of times over spring break, and I got a good feel for it. And it's demanding off the tee, which suits me pretty well. Yeah, I had a lot of fun, and it felt good to contribute to the team in a good way.
How about you?
Yeah, well, I was a senior this year, so I'd been there before, so I knew kind of what to expect going in. So I just tried to play safe off the tee and then put the demand on the second shot. That's kind of what I figured would be best for the strategy-wise for me. And then again, I just tried to help the guys get to know the course a bit, just because I'd been there before.
Now, golf is unique in the fact that you're a team player, you're an individual player. There's individual medalists, there's the team medalists. So you got both things going on at the same time. I don't really think that, if you're finishing, you're second, you're third, you're definitely not rooting against this guy. That's for sure, because you got everything's intertwined. Is there any factor at all trying to separate the team and the individual, or are you just trying to do your best and clear your mind from all that?
Yeah, for me, it's just, do what I can, post my score, and then know my teammates will be there for me, whatever score it is. That's usually my mentality. Just go out there, post a number, and do your best. That's all you really can do.
I'm exactly the same way, just trying to focus on yourself really when you're on the course, because if you start worrying about what the team score is, then that can kind of affect what you're doing as well if you try to press. So basically just worry about yourself and then trust the other guys on your team.
Now, Coach Pumpert, he talks so much about building the character, and there's the 5 traits that OU is looking for. Do you feel like in your journey as being an Oakland University student that you feel like you're being trained not only as a professional in your field that you're going to go into, but you're rounded out by your athletic career?
Yeah, I think so. Athletics has always taught me a lot of discipline throughout. All the amount of extra time you have to put in after school. It teaches you how to time manage really well, and I think that's helped me a lot.
Yeah, a lot of our guys, we all hold each other accountable for what we do, so that's a big factor in us trying to grow as players and as people as well, because if you grow as a person, then you're going to mature better, and that'll have a positive impact.
Gentlemen, it's been awesome, and congrats on your big tournament. Thanks a lot for educating us not only on what it's like being an Oakland University golfer, but when the younger kids want to come here, at least you kind of gave them a little bit more of a feel for what might happen when they come over here into Golden Grizzly territory. Thank you, gentlemen. Later in the show, we speak with PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan, scrum style, about the state of the PGA Tour and the new Rocket Mortgage Classic stopped this year in Detroit.
I started playing golf at the age of 7,
It just so happened that my dad has been a head mechanic at a public golf course in Southern California for over 30 years. He's always been around the game and always wanted to teach his kids how to play, and always in the back of his head he knew I was going to play golf, and here I am today living my dream. Not only am I proud to be an athlete from USC, but also a student from there. I was a late bloomer in terms of the recruiting process, and they just really gave me the tools, the access to amazing golf courses, but it was the confidence that they gave me. It was the constant reminder that I can do things even when I thought I couldn't, and really just gave me an awesome education along with great golf.
And you can start the party in Azusa. Lizette Salas is a winner on the LPGA Tour.
Oh, I mean, it meant everything. As you can see in the footage, I just broke down in tears because I've had some close calls, some heartbreaks, but I truly believe that all of those experiences led up to that. I just felt so confident, and I made some really good clutch putts, and the only sad part is that my parents weren't there, but to finally get that win, it was really special. There isn't a criteria to be a great golfer. I believe if the individual has confidence in themselves, is surrounded by positive people, that have parents or anyone that will support their dreams. I mean, sky's the limit regardless of your background, on your ethnicity. So, I mean, golf is just a great sport for that, and hopefully we can get some more girls out here.
The state of Michigan is the host of 2 PGA events and 2 LPGA events in 2019, plus there's one more just over the border in Toledo. In Grand Rapids at the Meijer Simply Cares tournament, we catch up with defending champion So Young Ringyu. Not very often that someone will actually give back some of their winnings for the tournament. Was that dinner? Did that change everything for you? Will you find out more about the class?
No, well, because I've been playing this tournament for like a few years, and then I aware of the program, but I got the chance to play with the president of Meijer, who is like Rick Keys, about play with Pro-Am with them, and then I was like, I knew about the program better than before, and then I played really great on Thursday, and then I just looked at the Simply Gifts sign at the golf course, and I was like, that's my motivation. I really want to win this tournament, and I want to give it back. And then I think that motivation worked really well, and then I won the tournament, so I just kept my promise.
Now, you've won several tournaments, and you started with a major several years ago. Right now, you must go into every tournament knowing that you are one of the players to beat.
Well, yeah, I think I've been fortunate to playing quite consistent for last 7 seasons, and I am looking forward to having a great season again in 2019 as well. But this is where I won last year, and then since I won this tournament, and then since I am more connected to Simply Give program, this place just became a more special place for me, and cannot wait to coming back.
Now the course has been rerouted. Several of the holes have you played the course at all this year?
No, not yet. But I heard about what's the hole like after rerouted, and then I heard the 11th gonna be our 18th hole. 16th gonna be our 18th hole, and then I think that's where the Grand Taste tent is, and then I feel like we can feel like more connected to the fans who's visiting the Grand Taste tent.
Now you won the tournament, but this is always a journey, not a destination. What have you improved in your golf game that's going to be an extra dart in your golf bag since you played last year?
I would say this golf course, you have to have everything to win the tournament, and because greens are quite hilly, you better to know how to hit all sort of different shots. So I would say to win the tournament, you have to be in good shape for every game, but most importantly, ball striking.
Okay, and final question is this. The LPGA, I've talked to the legends of the game at French Lick last year, and this charity concept of the tournament didn't start with the PGA Tour. It started with the ladies and continues on, and obviously with your efforts and other players, you really take this serious, having the charity component of a tournament.
Oh, I think this is such a good concept. Like I said before, like without a lot of people's help, like not many professionals could exist. So we are always aware of like how are we going to give it back to the community, and then playing this tournament just sort of automatically being part of help people out. So all the LPGA players have been thrilled to be part of this program.
Hi, I'm Thad Zott with Zott M59 Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. It's April, and you know what time it is.
Joe Koser here, and it's time for hockey in the D.
Whoa, big fella. I'm Rod Allen, and I'm here to tell you it's time for baseball in the D.
Rod, Joe, you're both right. But there is one thing bigger in the D. The deal, baby! DealsInTheD.com is where you'll find every vehicle listed with our very best price.
During our spring clearance event, we have leases starting at $129 per month. DealsInTheD.com.
That's country strong.
14 clubs. That's what they tell us a legal golf bag can hold. And while that leaves a little room for balls and tees, it doesn't leave room for much else. There's no room left for deadlines or conference calls. Not a single pocket to hold the stress of the day or the to-do list of tomorrow. Only 14 clubs. Pick out the right one and drive it right down the middle of pure Michigan. Your golf trip begins at Michigan.org.
What makes the Nightmare and the Dream such a must-play destination?
Well, like a lot of destination courses, they're absolutely fun to play, fantastic condition. Our superintendent does a great job keeping the courses up. But as a lot of people down here point out, we are a little bit closer than a lot of the Gaylord courses. So, on your way north, we're about 2.5 hours north of the Novi area, but we are definitely closer to home. We get a lot of people who stop and play on their way to Gaylord or on their way back. So definitely must-play courses, and you have a lot of fun there.
Now, it looks like you're a stay-and-play destination. You have 2 courses. It looks like you got a place that you can stay, or?
Yeah, we work with a hotel in the area. We do have stay-and-play packages set up. 3 courses that we primarily run: Dream, the Nightmare, and the West Branch Country Club. All great tracks, a lot of fun to play, and we definitely won't be disappointed playing them.
Taking a look, what's a memory that most golfers say that they come, they play your courses, and then they come back? What do they say that brings them back?
Just the condition. We take a lot of pride in customer service. When you bring a group to our courses, we definitely take good care of you. A lot of the groups that come definitely come back, repeat customers. When groups get done playing at our course, they book for the next year. We've got some weekends that are already booked for 2019, so as we continue to grow, we get more play year after year. A unique thing with us, neither course has a liquor license, so people can bring their own drinks. They really, enjoy that, save you a little bit of money on the, beverage side of things. We do supply you with ice and coolers, so that's, definitely one advantage of the course.
So if you're a golfer and you're a do-it-yourselfer and you're one of those guys that you're told you can't bring liquor anywhere else, if they come up to your area, they're... Pontiac Country Club is a golf course that has hosted plenty of big golf tournaments over the years. In our drone review, we take a look at a course that is short but has a lot of strategy that is risk-reward. Pontiac Country Club is not a long course by any stretch of the means, but everything on this course is extremely strategic, from greens, trees that are well placed, bunkers that are the same, and telling you what, when you played this course to par, you know that you've earned it. On the par 4 fourth of Pontiac Country Club, a hole that plays between 307 and 323 yards long. Most players used to try to drive this hole. The operative word is used to. Remodeled about a decade ago, now there's stone fencing all along the front of the hole, so any long bombers who come up just short and hope to bounce it on are now going to find themselves ricocheting the ball off the rocks or going ahead short, rolling in, and once again you're going to have to take a penalty for either a lost ball or an unplayable lot. If you hit a ball into the trees, you're hoping to chip it out, and then the best score you can hope for is a par level 4. Also coming up on this hole, this green is very undulated. It's sweeping, and unless you get the ball close, you're going to have a really nimble read on the putt in order to have a chance at a birdie or a par. This is a great score of 4 on this particular hole, and this is a hole where most players are going to look to bomb it, but the best play that you can have is hope to have a fairway wood, leave it maybe 30 to 50 yards short if you've hit a well-placed drive, and then go ahead and feed a high pitching or sand wedge into the green, and then going ahead and taking a shot at your birdie score. On the par 4 14th, which is about 357 yards from the Blues, this is a slight dogleg left that's elevated, and for most golfers, they're going to be able to put it out to a spot not too far from where I'm standing, around 225, 250, maybe even a little bit further, and from there, they're going to have probably a short iron into the green. The one thing about this green is that it severely slopes from left to right. There's a fence in play from the back, and there's trees guarding the green and a bunker over to the right side. For players that are playing in the Siren Invitational or the county championships, the thing to look out for is not getting it into the tree line on either side of this hole, because if you do, you're going to be chipping it out, and then you're going to have to try it all over again, and that's going to be a bogey building score. The par 3 17th at Pontiac Country Club plays between 162 and 174 yards long. It looks pretty inconsequential, but the thing that you have to take a look at on this hole is that guarding the green to the front are a pair of trees on the left side. They're dead, but they are certainly into play, and there's a creek that never gives up its dead. On this green, you need to put it really close to the hole to have a shot at a birdie. Other than that, you're going to be bargain shopping as you're going to be putting on a green that's kind of a trampoline shaped, and I'll tell you what, it is really hard to get birdies, but you can score a par. One of the things that you also need to do on this hole is that you have a great big huge greenside bunker onto the right hand side, so anybody hitting a fade, well, you might be chipping it out, and with this uncertain green, you're almost destined to get a bogey or worse. PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan was at Warwick Hills at the Allied Challenge, and we catch up with him and talk with him about Tiger Woods, the Champions Tour, and the Rocket Mortgage PGA Stop that happens later this summer.
You'll see that same enthusiasm, at Detroit Golf Club. And so I was reading that they're behind Florida, Texas, and California. You got the most golf courses in America here in Michigan. We have great champions that have emanated from Michigan. It's nice to be here this time of year when you see everything starting to get a little greener and golf season come into view, knowing that we're going to be here with 2 shots at it this year.
Are you as surprised as a lot of us that it took a decade for the tour to return to this great state?
I would say I'm not surprised, only because we've had on both of those tours, we've been fully sponsored.
Right.
And so it's not like there was an opening that we could have plugged into. And time has a way of getting you back to, getting you to the right place in the right places. And I think the way this happened with Ally and with Rocket Mortgage coming up and wanting so badly to do this for their communities, it just takes time, probably longer than people would have thought. But to me, the most important thing is we've come back here with 2 great partners, 2 great golf courses, and in the right way.
Tiger Woods has won here 3 times. Have you or anybody on your staff ever spoken with him to gauge his interest in the Champions Tour when he turns 50?
Tiger is 43 years old right now.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty focused on his time on the PGA Tour right now, and that conversation will come in the future. But at this point, any player that's 43 years old or is at that stage in their career, there's an expectation when they get to 47, 48, 9, it'll come into view, and that's when you typically have those conversations.
Is that something you could see him doing, though?
I don't want to speak to any individual player, but of course, this tour, look at the quality of play out here, and look at the quality of champions, major champions, player champions, Hall of Famers, and the level of play continues to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And the nature of any professional golfer is you're extremely competitive, and this is the ultimate platform to prove yourself on. So yeah, I'd never rule any player in the world playing on this tour.
You talked about the success of this event its first year. What would a player like him committing to play in Detroit in the first year, what would that mean to a first-year event like that if he were to play at the Rocket Mortgage?
Well, I think you just have to you look at where we are today and the depth of player that we have on the PGA Tour. And the players that have already committed to that event well in advance, that event is going to do extremely well, and I think as well as any first-year event has ever done. And having the Tigers, the Phils, the Rickies, the Dust, all those players, the totality of the players that are playing in the event make the event. But Tiger is, there really is. There's nothing like Tiger. To me, he's the most recognizable, dominant athlete in my lifetime and in this generation. And to have him back at this point in time, every week that he's playing, it certainly pulls more casual fans into our sport. So if that were to happen, you'd see more of that. And that's a wonderful thing.
This is a big year for rules changes.
It is.
What kind of rules do you think need a little bit more time to be understood and accepted, and which ones have been really positive, do you think, for the game?
Well, I think the USGA and the R&A are the two governing bodies that oversee the rules, and they went through a multi-year process, a 7-year process to try and modernize the rules. We, the PGA Tour, participated in that process, and I would say that we are really pleased with the outcome. You have 50-plus rules that were introduced at the beginning of the year. We saw that some of those rules needed debate and discussion. That happened, and they quickly and in real time made changes to 3 rules recently, and we're really pleased with where we are. But like anything else, we'll just continue to, as an industry partner, continue to monitor it, share our opinions, but you got to give those two organizations a lot of credit for doing something that hasn't been done in the history of our game in those organizations, and getting to a place where you're simplifying and modernizing. A lot of businesses are challenging themselves to do that, and I'm proud that ours has as well.
The LA Challenge has got the rock bands going on during the week and that kind of thing. Is that kind of a trend-setting thing for the Champions Tour, or is that unique to here, you think, or is that something that's going to be an expectation everywhere?
Well, listen, I think that typically when you look at the events that surround the event, they reflect that community, and they reflect the passions in that community, the culture in that community. And we're talking about a first-year event moving into its second year. I guarantee you that every other event on PGA Tour Champions and a lot of events on the PGA Tour are watching what happened here because it went over so well. But I do think we see music, culture, entertainment a big part of our events, and given the richness of all 3 here in this area, it wasn't a surprise to me that not only that it happened, but it happened in such so wonderfully.
The Champions Tour is here now, the PGA is coming back. Could you see a major championship returning to Michigan? I think it's been 10, 11 years maybe.
I would never put a restriction on this marketplace. So the way our sport is structured, we don't operate the major championships, but you've got a lot of great, smart leaders and organizations that have a deep commitment to the game, and given the strength of this marketplace, to me, it's just a matter of time.
Warwick Hills proved for 50 years what a great venue it was for hosting golf. What are some things about the Detroit Golf Club that maybe excite you for the upcoming event there?
Well, I would say being in the city of Detroit at this point in time on a Donald Ross golf course with a rich history and tradition. I grew up on a Donald Ross golf course. But being in the city at this point in time, to me, as we were talking about here today at the Ally, you talk about a path forward. This is a really exciting time to bring the best players in the world on these two tours into this market. And I think that that golf course is going to prove to be a great test. And I think it's going to show beautifully on television, not just the golf course, but when you're in the city, you've got the opportunity to tell the story. And I know that's really important to Rocket Mortgage, and we're proud to be able to do that and to have our players experience it and talk about it. And it'll just this year will be the start, and it's a first-year event. But I expect that we're going to be there for a long time to come.
Clubs. That's what they tell us a legal golf bag can hold. And while that leaves a little room for balls and tees, it doesn't leave room for much else. There's no room left for deadlines or conference calls, not a single pocket to hold the stress of the day or the to-do list of tomorrow. Only 14 clubs. Pick out the right one and drive it right down the middle of pure Michigan. Your golf trip begins at Michigan.org.
Finally, we speak with the LPGA hat lady, Michelle McGann, and catch up with her and the LPGA Legends Tour and what she's up to these days. Well, with me is the lady in the yellow hat. No, I'm sorry, the lady in the white hat today, Michelle McGann. I'd start there. You have all those beautiful hats that you wore, you still wear. Are you still wearing those hats?
Not this week, unfortunately. It's very windy out there. It's very cold. And I just uncovered my ears for 1 second, but it's challenging out there. I played a couple holes not so good, just kind of lost my feel a little bit and just forgot what I was doing, and really it was just survival out there.
So how does a Florida girl play well in this cold weather, where I think it's Santa Claus has warmer weather than we have today?
Well, let's see, I think we have 4 layers on. I had my rain jacket on at one point, and then it got, I don't want to say warm, but it got a little warmer out there.
It feels good compared to what it was 2 hours ago.
Yeah, it's the wind. It's really the wind that's killing us. And the pace, everybody, it's taking everybody a little bit longer today. So, it's hard to really get any rhythm going, but that's what it is. And we have 2 more days, so.
All right. Now, taking a look, you've, been on tour a long time, and but as far as for the ladies and of the Legends, you haven't had the big tournaments that the men have had, but now I think you're serving notice that you ladies can still play this game, and we got to get some fans out here to see how well that the whole tour is playing.
Well, and that certainly is true. We're still hitting it great, but it's the middle of October, and anything can happen, as we can see here in the Midwest, and it's tough. Like I said, it was just a matter of getting the feel in your hands, and some holes it was easier than others. But the Legends is awesome. You should come watch us whenever you can. We've got 2 majors now, and just trying to get a little bit better as the days go on.
Yeah, and of course this course and the whole tour, you look great out there on the course. I know you didn't feel great out there in the cold weather, but I am going to give you a diabetes question. I think this. The LPGA is the first tour that hooked up making sure that the volunteers were hooked up with a charity. So, I mean, the whole tournament, it's not only the players are getting paid, but the volunteers are coming up from the organization. And that leads into kind of your organization. I know that you have your own golf tournament that highlights the need to research diabetes. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we have the Michelle McGann Golf Classic, which is November 30th in North Palm Beach, which will be a lot warmer than this. But we are actually, my foundation is trying to help the kids now. There's so many organizations that donate, and they donate to research. And I was fortunate enough to have a mother who was a nurse, so my mom was able to help me 24/7. So we feel that there's such a need for these parents and the kids to get educated right now and to get the help they need, because if we can keep their blood sugars somewhat under control, then the less complications they will have in the future. And I can honestly tell you, today I was as high as 280 and as low as 50, because the wind and the cold weather just makes your blood sugars go all over the place. And I did my best out there, and that's what my message is to all those kids that think they can't do anything while living with diabetes is so false. There's going to be ups and downs like there is on the golf course, but you got to just hang in there and keep doing your best and hope that one day they will find a cure.
One final question. You ladies of the generation before you, yours, and even a little after, that are in the prime of their LPGA careers, the players are getting bigger and stronger and so forth. Where do you see the LPGA and maybe even the Legends division going in the next few years?
Well, technology has taken over. You can see it on the men's tour, on our tour. And I think our tour is, we've all made our mark in the game of golf, but this is supposed to be fun too. We're all still competitive, but we just really need some sun.
We do.
It was just so cold, but I think that this is great for women's golf, that a lot of those girls do have something to look forward to, and we're just trying to keep building it.
Yeah. Well, I invite you to go take a polar bear plunge to warm up, because it is really, I've never seen it like in the 20s. It's not in the 20s, but it feels that way with the wind.
Yeah, with the wind, I think it's probably in the 30s, I would have to guess. But thanks for having me, and go Lions!
See, we do have one Lions fan that's not from there. Thank you so much, Michelle. The Lions will appreciate hearing that. Yeah. Good luck, and have a great dinner tonight. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
That's all for now. If you want player rankings for Michigan Preps and more interviews, press conferences, and more, and even more stories beyond all that, go on to www.midwestsportscene.com and the Michigan Golf Scene page. Until next time, this is Roy J. Akers reporting.